Hi, I'm Sophie Marie Odom, Lifestyle Magazine's editor.
And I'm Samantha Rank, broadcaster and disability rights campaigner, and welcome to the Motability Lifestyle Pod. In this podcast, we invite our friends from the disability community into the studio for a conversation about how we can all live our best life, particularly when navigating a disabling world.
We're back with a Christmas special, but before we get started, just a reminder that if you're listening to us in your car, you can watch the full episode on YouTube, complete with captions and British Sign Language. Find us by typing in @Motability Lifestyle Magazine, all one word, into YouTube. Also, make sure to click subscribe or follow wherever you're listening so you're the first to know of each new episode. Sam, it feels good to be back in the studio.
It feels so good and I'm so festive. Look at my... Do you like my hat?
I love it.
I have to confess, my agent Andrew made me, and I say made me wear this.
I was here, Sam. You didn't put up much of a protest.
I mean, God bless him. He was like a little puppy. He was like, please wear a hat. So there we go. I am a tiara queen.
It suits you.
I did buy my own little jingly jangly earrings, so we're good to go.
I love it.
How have you been? I've missed you.
I know, I've missed you too. It's been almost like 6 months.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. It's been a lifetime.
Ages, hasn't it? Yeah. But it feels so good to be back in the studio.
It is so nice with our Barbies.
I know, Barbies are back. The Barbies are back. The lights back.
The lights
with
back.
Tinsel as well.
I know, very, very festive.
Very festive.
I absolutely adore it.
So what have you been up to, Sam?
Gosh, I mean, ultimately, the renovation and moving back to Lancashire has just taken over my life. I think just logistically, you know, having a new PA, having to travel a lot from London, just that logistics, just understanding all the new barriers that I have to kind of contest with. It's been interesting, but weirdly, I've actually felt, not to be deep and meaningful, I've actually felt more alive. I think because when you've got to really think about how you're getting somewhere or take that extra effort and plan, you can't be, lethargic. You can't kind of rest on your laurels. And I think living in London made me do that. However, I've been here, there and everywhere. I kind of manifested. I was like, I really want to do some more events. So I went to the Glamour Awards, Glamour Woman of the Year Awards.
Which was big.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I know, right? So I went there, and then I recently went to the Wicked premiere, which was wonderful. So I'm feeling like the tiara suggests, I'm feeling very much like a princess, and I feel like I'm living two lives. I'm very much like a hermit when I'm at home with the cats, and then all of a sudden get flung into this glamour world. But it's been nice. It's been a nice transitional year, and I feel very, very grateful. And I think it's a nice time to feel grateful this time of year.
And I've seen you on ITVX.
Yes. So I had the pleasure of working with Jay Howard and Fats Timbo, who we've obviously had on the show. If you haven't listened to that episode, go check it out. And we teamed up with ITV Studios for a new season of Fresh Cuts. So last year, Fresh Cuts celebrated Black History Month, and this year they are celebrating Disability History Month. So go and check it out. You can stream all 3 episodes of Unfiltered Women. I mean, if there was just a title, a show that I was hosting,
it's very super fitting.
But it was a real privilege to work not only with, ITV and 2 amazing women, but I think some of the content, some of the stories we got to share, it resonated with it has resonated, and it will continue to resonate with so many people. I've been inundated with a lot of messages. A lot of people going, what? There's only 3 episodes? There needs to be more. So fingers crossed, who knows?
Yeah.
At the moment, there's 3 episodes, and I'm proud that they're out there.
Yeah.
But what about you?
It's been a whirlwind. It's been not as glamorous as yours.
No, but you have. You've been winning awards left, right and centre.
Yes, I did recently win Editor of the Year for the Sport, Health and Fitness category.
Fabulous.
At the BSME, which is the British Society of Magazine Editors. And last year I was highly commended, so it feels really, really, really good to walk away with a trophy this year.
And I loved your outfit that you wore. Go and follow Sophie and on her Instagram, or you're like, no, I don't want people following me. But you looked beautiful, as you always do, my love.
Thank you. It was such a lovely night. Just celebrating editorial excellence, and it was just nice to have, you know, the previous editor-in-chief of Glamour was there as well. So
nice.
It was nice to see her and some other people from all the industry. So yeah, it was a really good night. So yeah, that was big. And also we did a recent cover behind me, our toys, celebrating inclusive toys. A lot went into this because we, from the beginning to the end, the whole execution we did from the photo shoot. So we got the children, we worked with Zebedee to get the children as Skylarks. Yeah, with Skylarks charity. And in the feature as well, my son's in the feature.
I did not know this.
Yeah, my son's in the feature as well. So we just brought loads of kids together just to have a play day.
Will you send me a copy, actually?
Yeah, I will do. It was a really, really fun day. We just got loads of different inclusive toys for them to play with.
That was my invite. I want to play with toys.
It was really fun. It was very chaotic because you can imagine working with kids. But they had the best time. They had a really good time. And the feature was, it came out chef's kiss.
So wonderful. And I guess Christmas buying and Christmas presents, it is about children, isn't it? But I kind of want to, I'm all about thrifting, so American. I'm all about secondhand and upcycling and recycling at the moment. And I have bought quite a few secondhand presents from my nearest and dearest. How do you feel about that?
I'd be absolutely fine. I just think Christmas has lost its meaning. It's become so commercialised. It's become who can spend the most. And I just think if you're putting that much effort into knowing the person and knowing what they'd like and going into a secondhand store or seeing, you just passed a charity shop and seeing something they may like, I think that's so thoughtful. And I think that is what Christmas is about. Totally. I mean, there's just so much fast fashion, things that are just, bought just for Christmas and then never used again. And it just goes into wasteland. And I just think that's perfect. Why not?
No, it's so because I've got Sphinx cats, and I went to an antiques place with my mum, and in the cabinet there was like a random statue of a Sphinx cat, and my mum was like, because we were both there, she's like, I'll get you that, but I'm putting it away for Christmas. And I was like, okay, but I would love that if someone like randomly found like some socks with a Sphinx cat on it. I'd be like, if they didn't pick that up for me, I would be like,
it's perfect.
Maybe not secondhand socks. Maybe something else. But you know what I mean? Anyway, we digress. Shall we crack on with the show?
Let's. Because December is a really busy month, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Because we got International Day of Persons with Disabilities, which is on December the 3rd. And it's currently Disability History Month until December the 20th, which you alluded to earlier. And it has a theme of disability, livelihood and employment.
Yeah, so last year was disability in adolescence and childhood, which was really important. But I think it is important also to recognise, the inequalities that we still face in the world of work, particularly, with a lot of kind of disability inclusion and how I guess there was a lot of tokenism, and where we are now, are we still fighting the same battles that we were a couple of years ago? So it's a really important time of year. But I love Disability History Month. It's my favourite time of year. So yeah, get celebrating and download a disability calendar. It's free. You can literally download one for free and keep up to date. So
exactly.
Go and do that.
Go and do that. For those who want to find out more about Disability History Month, visit ukdhm, all one word, .org. For those who want to find out about International Day of Persons with Disabilities, visit idpwd.org. Now we have a very special Christmas guest who's making the world a better place.
I see what you did there.
I'm glad. I did that all myself.
Well done.
Can you guess who it is?
Well, I don't know, but I just hope I've got my cup of tea, so I hope they've got to bring something with them, some cake with them, I tell you.
Today, we can't imagine a more appropriate guest to help us get in the Christmas spirit. Our guest today was made famous on the Great British Bake Off, hence my baking joke. But not just because of her amazing baking skills and showstoppers, but also because she was the show's first deaf contestant. She and her British Sign Language interpreter, Daryl, quickly became fan favourites, and she made it to the semi-final last year. We are so excited to hear about her experience and also pick her brains about all things Christmas bakes. Welcome to the podcast, Tasha Stones and Digby.
A huge welcome. Now, I'm rather distracted. I am sorry. I just said everyone's null now. You're not even here because Digby has stolen our hearts and the show. So we might as well just go home. I do have quite a lot of questions to ask you, but I just feel like I want to talk to Digby a little bit. I mean, what is Digby planning for Christmas?
What's Digby planning for Christmas? Food.
Of course.
She's going to be following us around the kitchen all day, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, food prep.
And what is his favourite tidbit?
The cheese.
Anything that falls on the floor.
Anything that falls on the floor.
Perfect.
But cheese is next level. I actually thought he was going to jump up because normally he does with the C word.
He is absolutely adorable. But I guess we better get back to, because you came all this way, so it'd be rude not to, really. But how have you been? How have you been ever since your stardom? How have things been? Has it been a roller coaster? Have you kind of taken it with both hands and really assimilated into the celeb world?
I don't know about celeb world, but it's been wild. It's been exactly a year.
Wow.
Well, roughly exactly a year since the semi-final aired. This year has gone so fast, and I've been so lucky. I've got to do so much, and so much has changed. I got him in August.
Wow.
It's been the best. It's been the best year. It really has.
Amazing. So tell us about you. What did you want to be growing up? How did you get to go on the show?
I wanted to be everything growing up. I was one of those kids who changed their mind every day, but that was kind of the theme. I wanted to be an animal trainer, a horse whisperer, a vet. And then, as a teenager, I started baking. And then I thought, I want to open a bakery. Baking was my therapy as a teenager because I went to a mainstream school and I found it really hard, hearing-wise with friends. And I would come home and I would be so tired. I'd take my cochlear implant off and I would just bake. And it just kind of grew from there. And then I realised, actually, I didn't want to work directly in baking and bake every single day because my therapy would then become my job. And I was like, wait, this is too much.
Thought you were going to say, I didn't want to work. Period.
I was going to say, yeah, wouldn't blame you.
It's one of those things. I love it. And I'm a feeder.
Honestly, if I ever get married, my husband's going to be rather overweight. It is what it is.
You joke, but honestly, my partner took up running after I applied for
Wow.
because I was practicing so much. And the thing is, you can't give away the bakes that you're practicing to your neighbours because they're like,
what are you doing?
Yeah, what is this? Why have you made a ball of meringue with things inside? This is a very strange thing for people to do in their own time. And they're all a bit elaborate, so I was like, I can't give anything away, but I don't want to do food waste. So my partner was just the rubbish bin.
Next time.
I was going to say, that's what I was about to say. Next time we're here.
So clearly you've got a passion for it. It was your form of escapism or meditation. But I guess there is a big leap from having it as a hobby or something that, gives you so much joy to actually going, wow, I'm going to do this and then have cameras pointing at me and then also have people scrutinize me on social media for about a year. So how did that transition happen? Did it happen overnight? Did someone say that you should be on the show?
I always said from about the age of 16, I would love to go on Bake Off if it wasn't on TV.
Okay.
Which would not work, obviously. But it was one of those things. I wanted to go and enjoy the experience because you always look at it and you think, oh, they look like they're having a really good time. They all look like they're friends. And I really wanted to do that, but I did not have the confidence. And it was sort of, as I found my deaf identity and became sort of a stronger advocate for myself, then I had the confidence to do it. But it did take a lot of people going, have you applied? You should apply. Please apply. And those are sort of people at work, the people I was feeding. And I applied. I didn't tell anyone, obviously, because I really didn't think I was going to get anywhere with it. But that was the thing I was most nervous about, people scrutinising. Because social media, it can be great, but it can also be really negative.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And what worried me is seeing people say things about my deafness and thinking about deaf children and young people potentially seeing those things. And that scared me because although I've got a support network around me and I knew I could get through it, but I worried about the impact of negativity on other deaf people. So that scared me. But the show were amazing in, making sure that the whole thing was accessible for me. Getting Daryl in, we did deaf awareness training as well before we even started shooting, and I just had to keep reminding myself it is a minority of voice. And they're fake profiles.
Yeah.
They're not real people. They're just people talking from the keyboard.
Yeah, and it can still be damaging. And I think what you have to recognise, or what the world needs to recognise, is if you're disabled and you go on television or you put yourself out there, we aren't all advocates for the community. So I would call myself an advocate. So I do feel that responsibility more, but you just like baking. And the fact that you were deaf also was just another part of your identity. However, unfortunately, because disability isn't in the mainstream still on television, it's as though we have to shoulder that responsibility. Like, you're the first deaf person on television. That must mean you need to be a role model. But you're like, hang on a minute. I didn't ask for that status, but it does go hand in hand.
It does. And I'm quite grateful for it because it's sort of educating people very subtly. I'm not the same as someone like Rose or Tasha Guri or Jodie from Gladiators. We're all very different in what our needs are. And I think that's the most important thing is one disability doesn't manifest the same way for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I use a combination of speech and sign language. Rose is more BSL. People will say, oh, but she's got a cochlear implant. Why is she signing? She's doing it to get the sympathy vote. But actually, I think people are starting to realise that their ideas of disability isn't what it actually should be. So I feel quite fortunate that I've kind of fallen into that. I hate saying role model because it feels
I know.
It feels like just an example of a disability. These things can be done.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
I think it's beautiful that you embrace that because there are so many, like I was looking at the feedback that you got while being on the show, and one particular article I was reading, a lady wrote on Twitter, I think, that her child was watching and sort of could see herself in you. And I think that kind of like feedback is like, although it's a lot to shoulder, it is amazing that you're having this impact on like the next generation, if you like. So how does that feel?
Scary.
It's a lot of responsibility.
No, it's one of those things. I didn't like. I'm sure, like you didn't. We didn't grow up.
No,
with people who look like us on TV or communicated in the same way. And I remember. Do you remember Dick and Dom?
Yeah.
The CBB. Yeah. So I remember watching it on Saturday morning. And I went running up to my mum because I was like, oh my gosh, they've got hearing aids. Look, they've got hearing aids because they had those little clear in wires going down. Yeah. It's like, Mummy, they've got hearing aids like me. And she was like, no, they don't. That's for production.
But it does stick with you. I think, children are sponges. Yes. I worked in education and sometimes I worry about, what I'm like. I've got quite a slippery tongue.
It's so important. Not like disability, but everything, religion, race, gender, kids need to see themselves.
Yeah.
So I was eyeing up the Barbies on the table when I came in. I was like, see, I want the Barbie with a cochlear implant.
Yeah.
Dog. Yeah. That's my next job.
They do have one. They do have a Barbie with a cochlear implant.
Our one here.
Yeah.
But hearing dog, maybe we need to add that.
Hearing dog. Oh, we need to investigate.
Barbie, if you're listening.
Model right.
I know, right?
So take us back to last year and being on the show. You said that, a lot of training went into making sure that you were comfortable and, they looked after you. But what else? Tell us about being on the show. You won Star Bakers it twice in a row.
Yeah, I did. The show was amazing. I had so much fun. It was kind of like a baking summer camp because it was hot and there's a lot you don't see on TV.
Of course.
Like we're outside the tent and we're sitting in the sun and getting to know each other. And I know it's so cliche. Everyone goes, oh, it's like a massive family. It is. Yeah. It is like a massive family and it's lovely. And it's also the crew as well as the cast. And I just had such a it sounds really boring. I had a really nice time. Yes, obviously it was stressful because
it's a competition.
Yeah. It's a competition. Yeah. But you're also rooting for your fellow contestants.
That's what I'm curious about because I'm like, you're all too nice to each other. I want some stabbing in the back. I want ruthlessness.
That's what the American chose.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's where I need to go. Maybe I need to go to LA. I think they'll get me a bit more.
Do Ramsey's kitchen nightmares.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be fine. My mum's German, so Germany, not to be stereotypical, but, Germans like to bake. Yeah. And they're pretty good at baking. Strudel. Yes. And, so my mum, bless her, she can't really cook, but she definitely can bake. But I've never got the bug. Are you the only person in your family who has the bug, or was this a skill that was kind of handed down to you?
It was kind of handed down to me. I baked with my grandma and my mum, and we used to just do little cupcake kind of things and biscuits. I don't want to say relatively basic, so it sounds like an insult to them. But they do bake. My grandma's 95 and she's still making flapjacks. And everyone loves her carrot cake and her chocolate cake recipe. It's the best one. I can't beat it.
I love carrot cake.
So good.
I love carrot
Let's try my grandma's carrot cake.
Where is our...
And now bring in my grandma.
You've not brought any cake with you?
I know.
I'm sorry, that's it.
I know,
Right,
I'm out.
camera's off.
This is the thing.
Done.
I thought Digby would like kind of get me out of this because people don't say hi to me anymore. They just go to my dog and then they go, "Did you bring food?" Cool.
That's all you're good for now.
It really is. Yeah. Useless.
So does that mean that Christmas baking is going to fall on you?
Probably.
Yeah.
I like to cook as well, but my entire family likes to cook. So I'll just stack back and let them cook and I will do the baking. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet.
No.
Might do a twist on a mince pie. So I do love a mince pie, but if I'm making it, I can't be bothered to do all the pastry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just buy that in the shop.
Do you know what? I genuinely just like a really cheap mince pie. I got like a fancy schmancy, all butter one. It was a bit naff.
Really?
I was like, I was a bit, I don't know. I was like,
Do you heat them up?
No. Oh, is that where I go wrong?
Yeah.
No, I'm like, I'm like
Heat
this.
them up, and then the all butter ones literally melt in your mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's
Okay. Is that where I'm going wrong? I need to
Air
learn.
fryer.
Yeah, all that. Yeah.
Gee, it doesn't last that long. I mean, putting it in the microwave is an effort. I want it,
You need like less than 30 seconds, like 15
that's
seconds.
30 seconds too long for me.
It makes
I'm
a lot of
afraid.
difference.
It does.
Yeah.
Right, okay, I'm going to go.
I
Yeah.
do a blind test. So you have one
Right.
cold, one hot, sorted.
So basically, you're just encouraging me to eat more cakes and more mince pies, is that? I mean, I'll protest a little bit, but if you say so.
It's Christmas though.
If
That's
you
when
say-
you need
I know,
to
but-
eat all the food.
But my Christmas starts in October. My mince pie eating
I don't see the
starts in
problem.
October.
I don't see the problem.
No.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah, I know.
I have a rule. I don't celebrate Christmas until the 1st of October. 1st of December comes round. December. No
That's
mince
good.
pies, no lights, nothing. And then 1st of December.
Okay,
Then
that's
go
okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same goes the
Yeah.
calendar.
I do.
yes.
Oh, okay, yeah, traditionalist. No, I buy pumpkins in July. I'm that kind of person. Yeah, I know.
I am
I know.
quietly judging.
Yeah. Well, you see, I kind of judge a little bit. I did go into a shop and they had Christmas decorations in October, and I did like a little on Instagram, a profanity. I was like, what the chuff? And then secretly inside, I'm going,
Buying them all.
I wanted,
Filling your
yeah,
trolley.
exactly. I wanted to be with the masses, like outrage.
Yeah.
But secretly, I was ecstatic.
You loved it. So talking of Christmas, are you feeling Christmassy? You in the mood?
Do you know what? It snowed
Yeah.
last week in Bristol, and the first thing I wanted to do was go to the garden centre and go see Father Christmas and pick out a tree.
Rotto.
I thought, we could get a little photo of Digby on Father Christmas's lap. And then I was like, wait, no, it's mid-November. Stop. Enough. No, I'm not.
Yet.
I am, but I'm trying to push
Yes.
it down.
Press.
But by the time the show comes out, it will be mid-December. So hopefully,
I am
you'll be
feeling
fit.
very Christmassy. It's just I'm so Christmassy right now. We're like, what, a week away from Christmas?
Yay!
That answer.
The power of television and podcasting. I really like cooking. I've recently moved from London to Lancashire, so I've gone from a space that didn't have an accessible kitchen to a pretty accessible kitchen. So I have started cooking, but I definitely want to get into baking. I think for me, just because I've got really poor attention span, but also on a practical level, I've got poor dexterity, so I struggle to lift things. And obviously cleaning up if I don't have any help. So simple, easy recipes. What should we be baking for Christmas? Or even just in general, because not everyone is celebrating, for like with very minimal, like maybe 5 ingredients, things that we would all have ready available. Because there's nothing worse when I start watching a TV cooking show and they go, blah, blah, and then they come up with like some ingredient. And I'm like, we don't all live in Notting Hill. Like, give us a break.
There was
Yeah.
something on
Yeah.
TV. It's like, this is so easy to make. Comes together in 10 minutes. You just need your pomegranate molasses. And I'm like,
Oh, what?
what is that?
Yeah.
What is a molasses?
Where are you getting that from?
I know. It really irritates me. One of my favourite recipes was literally bananas, oats, peanut butter, and chocolate chips. I don't put chocolate chips. I put cocoa powder in or like cinnamon and like mix it together and put it in the oven for 20 minutes. And they are perfect because it's like, you don't waste the bananas. And that's my go-to at the moment. I put chia seeds in it. I just shove everything in, but it's just a really quick, easy recipe. So have you got any top tips?
My top tips for Christmas: don't make your own pastry.
Oh, okay.
It's hard work, it's fiddly, and it's really messy. And basically the shop bought stuff it does the job.
Yeah.
But you can get it pre-rolled as well. So do you like savoury bakes?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love everything.
So, right.
Say that again. I love that. I just eat anything.
I do. I'm not fussy.
Well, you can just roll out. No, you don't even need to roll it out. Put out your pastry and brush it with a bit of egg. And if you add some caramelised onions, so just caramelise them in the pan, pop them on there, a little bit of red currant or cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Zhuzh it up. Maybe some
From a
brie,
jar.
remember.
From a jar.
Pop it in the oven, and then you have a savoury tart.
Oh, nice.
You can find the recipe on my Instagram.
Okay, I will.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Tasha_F_Stones. It was already a Tasha Stones on Instagram.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just things like that, really easy. And I mean, what you can do is with the same pastry, favourite spread, Nutella, Biscoff, that kind of thing, spread it on, and then cut it into the shape of the pastry and twist it up.
Oh, my kids would love that.
Yeah.
Two ingredients. That's two ingredients.
2 ingredients. You could put a banana in the middle.
Yeah.
You could put 3 ingredients.
Wow. What's my obsession with bananas?
Put mincemeat in there if you want a mince pie.
That's a really good idea.
Do you know what? I might make that. Sorry, I just had the idea.
Say if you to buy tinned fruits. So I'm all for tins. I'm like all for convenience. I think there's no shame in it. You can add things like nutmeg or cinnamon or cloves to that to like, as my mum would say, tart it up a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
No, it's true, isn't it? I think we should not have shame around, kind of being thrifty. Theme of today, being a bit more conscientious. I've got so many tins and it's great, particularly when you have a disability, when the weather is rubbish, and you can't go out constantly to the shops. It's so convenient to have that. So exactly, just think outside the box a little bit and have no shame.
Yeah, I'm all for tinned fruit and frozen fruit.
Yeah.
It goes off really quickly when it's fresh. So frozen
really
tinned,
does.
yeah.
It's really bad, isn't it? It's
Also, things like mango, really hard to prepare, like peeling.
Yes.
Like I struggle a bit with the pit and all that stuff, and they're wasting a lot of the pit. But if you buy it frozen chunks, I mean, you're getting way more for your money.
Yes.
yeah,
And it lasts
totally.
forever.
Yes.
And the other thing is you can get really interesting fruit from like Chinese supermarkets and things. I got a tin of lychees.
I
love
love
lychees.
lychee.
They're never around
No.
and they're expensive, but you can get a whole tin for like £2.
Yeah.
And I
Lychee.
just eat lychees out my cup.
Oh yeah, of course. And the juice for cocktails.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just drink it. Like,
There's me. Of course I have to add vodka to it. Of course I do.
So thinking back to when you were a child, did you love Christmas? And if so, what was your fondest childhood memory?
I loved Christmas. And do you know what? I was going through some photo albums recently for some project. And I found photos of me like dressed up. I was obsessed with dressing up. I love dressing up.
Oh yeah, who
Like
wasn't?
a princess crown, a baby doll, and like
Hello.
yeah, there you go. I just didn't do it today, sorry. And there's a photo of someone coming in and they've got like stuff in their hair. And I was like, was it snowing that Christmas? Because I had it in my head, it was like around Christmas time. But sure enough, it was a white Christmas. And, I was dressed up in my ridiculous outfits and outside in the snow with my brother. And yeah.
Oh, that's
it's
lovely.
nice, isn't it, when it snows?
I'm so sorry, I'm concentrating, but Digby just
know.
did a big sigh as if to go, when will this ever end? You just really put me off, did you?
I didn't hear it was comfortable.
Are we keeping you?
We're borrowing you, Dix.
Oh my god,
He
that's
does-
comfortable.
He does talk. It's
Oh, yeah.
he like grumbles.
Oh yeah.
And he does old man noises.
So do I. I do old man noises as well. So today we are talking about, again, just being a bit more conscientious. I think, the pandemic was something that we all took a step back and understood that, we can't live on the luxury side all the time. But I feel like sometimes people have since forgotten. And I don't think that is a healthy approach. I think everyone needs to be mindful of the environment, our income, particularly when you have a disability. And this year, because I've moved house and that is expensive, travel is expensive. I've not had to think about travel. My dad was an antiques dealer, so I grew up always going to antique stalls or car boots. So I love that. I think it's great. And I have actually bought most of my Christmas presents secondhand. Yeah, either from charity shops or on other online stores. I'm not going to give them free advertisement. The well-known, second-hand online auctions. And some of them are still in their packaging, some of them not so much. But how would you feel about, I don't know, well, I keep saying the American term, thrifting. Second-hand crap. How do you feel about it?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not bat an eyelid if someone got me a second-hand present.
No.
Because they're actively going to look for the right thing for me, and they're not just ordering something off.
Yes, one of those big chains.
One of those giant websites. And, that's fine. And it's nice that people are doing that. But if you're actively going onto an auction website or you're going into shops and you're looking for something that you think, that's Tasha.
Yeah.
That's more meaningful to me.
I agree.
And I like getting, wrapping paper, obviously, and just baking things and wrapping it up in a nice little bow.
Yep.
Or you can make jams and things. And
I love anything like that.
Actually put time into this.
It's true.
Much more thoughtful.
Again, it's that's very German as well. Like a lot of baking and that clear cellophane.
Yes.
You put your biscuits in and then you wrap it up. That's just, that's what people did, like neighbours do, Sometimes they would put like 20 euros attached to it. They used to.
Well, that's very
it was really cute. So what you do, you just like concertina it and then make it into like a little bow fan and tie it onto the biscuits, like £10 or £20. Something personal, but also something that they can go and treat themselves for a coffee or, Yeah.
That's so thoughtful.
Yeah. I'm a thoughtful guy.
Cool. So after Christmas, thinking about 2025, what's on Tasha Stone's list? What have you got planned? What can you tell us? Anything exciting?
This is the problem, right? You can't really tell people.
No.
And it's really hard because it just sounds like I'm really boring. But what am I doing? I'm going to the beach in February.
Nice.
That's my plan.
Ooh.
That's a personal plan. But
in the UK?
In the UK, yeah. I can't afford to go abroad. No, just Devon would be nice.
Nice.
But I think just see what comes. I'm still doing stuff on Instagram whenever I have ideas. This is the thing. I try not to pressure myself to create content constantly.
Yes.
If I have an idea for something, I'll do it.
Yeah. Or more organic.
But yeah, I haven't planned that far ahead, if I'm being honest.
And that's fine.
That's fine, yeah. Exactly. But I'm sure you're going to have lots of exciting things. And I think it's probably stuff you can't tell us.
Yeah.
So, yes. I'm sure it'll be a very successful.
Yeah, just say, watch this space.
Watch this space.
There we go.
I'll update.
Yeah, keep in touch, please. And next time, cakes.
Yeah.
Cakes, yes.
And cookies and brownies.
And brownies.
Otherwise, you're never invited back.
Yeah, okay. Agreed.
Oh.
So
I'll just
lovely.
pop into to a corner shop on the way.
Yeah, oh no. Oh my goodness.
Carrot cake.
I still love it.
I'm so gullible. I would probably not even. I'd be like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Same.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure to have. We could have chatted to you for so long. Thank you so much, and hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Don't bake too much. Let other people do a little bit of the heavy lifting. Eat a lot though.
Yes.
I will be eating.
And again,
every day.
yes.
Yes.
And care packages can be sent to. I'll give you my PO box address.
Likewise. Okay. So lovely to meet you. And Digby.
Thank you for having me. And sorry, I should say us. Thank you for having us.
Just to mention, if there are any keen bakers listening, applications for Series 16 of the Great British Bake Off are now open. The casting team are looking for a fresh batch of bakers, mouthful, for 2025 and are passionate about reaching out to communities that are currently underrepresented on our screens. So if you're interested, apply now via the website applyforbakeoff, all one word, .co.uk, or email applyforbakeoff@loveproductions.co.uk, or you can call 0117 456 8530. The deadline for applications is the 2nd of January at 1 p.m. Good luck. So, Hi, Matt.
Hi.
We are here with...
Culture with my ding, 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 ding. That wasn't very Christmassy, was it?
Well, I don't know, it felt a bit Christmassy.
Oh, a little bit. I didn't want to get copyright. I didn't want to do like the, melody of like Mariah Carey or something.
I liked it. It was sort of
That'll do.
ambiguously Christmassy.
That'll do. I feel like I'm out of practice.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
So how are you, Matt? You feeling Christmassy?
I always feel Christmassy.
Good.
I can't wait. Christmas finishes and I'm already thinking about next Christmas.
Are you?
Me.
Oh, I love that for you.
Big Christmas guy, yeah.
We were talking about kind of being a bit more frugal at Christmas because it has become very commercialized and the pressure is unreal. I literally had a moment where I was like, I don't want to put anything on my credit card. I was like, why am I stressing? Why am I stressing? So I have bought quite a lot of gifts for my family and friends that are second hand. Would you be offended if someone gave you something that was second hand or even a re-gifted?
No.
No?
Not at all.
Well, I'm glad you said that because wait. Might take me a while, so talk amongst yourselves. Because I did actually nip to my local charity shop on route today. There was 2 of these. I thought because you've both got children, look, you can see the £1 sticker.
That's
Here
so
we go.
thoughtful.
Just for anyone who is listening, do you want to read out what that is?
Oh, it's a festive garden. Pop-up Christmas garden.
It's a pop-out Christmas theme tray choir tablet. Cress seeds.
Cress
something-
seeds.
Oh, they
cress.
plant it. Okay.
So you can
Oh, that's nice.
you can grow your own cress with the kids.
Aw.
There you go.
Thank you, Sam.
You're welcome. Anyway, Merry Christmas.
Thank
there
you.
you
So,
go.
Matt,
Hurrah.
what are we talking about today? What's the Christmas
What are we talking
bar
about?
chat?
That's a good question. A real tenuous link to Christmas. I'm saying cars for life, not just for Christmas. Of course, most people don't actually get their cars at Christmas. But the point is, there are a lot of people who get their car on the Motability Scheme and realise quite quickly after that maybe it doesn't actually suit them, or they'd wish they'd tried such and such to see whether something fits in the boot, or they hadn't thought about their young child that's going to pass their driving test and then want to drive the car, but they can't get insured on it because it's one for over 25s, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to give a few sort of tips on things to think about before you make a decision on a car. So when deciding what car to choose, but also when you go for a test drive, lots of people don't go for a test drive.
That's
I understand why. Yeah, I think sometimes it is quite difficult. I think some dealers aren't as helpful as others.
Okay.
I think for some people it feels like a bit of an ordeal, and it can feel a bit, if you suffer from anxiety or whatever as well, it can be just a bit hard.
I understand.
So I can understand why some people don't, but I think for others, I think for the most part, it's really, really worth doing.
Yeah.
So I'll give a few reasons as to why. So my first tip when choosing a car that's right for you would be actually in the choosing stage, when you're narrowing down your options, have a think about how your circumstances are going to change. That's one thing. So if you've got a member of the family who within the next year or two is going to learn to drive, will they want to drive the car? And if so, is it one that they can drive? Is it one that's suitable for under 25s? If not, maybe you have to think about that. The other one that I see a lot of is people having additional children. So sometimes people already have 2 kids. They have
People really plan for that though, because things happen. Come on, Matt.
no, but that's a very good point. That is a very good point. Possibly not. But if it is something that's on your radar, often people realise then you can't, it's really hard to fit 3 car seats in the back side by side. Car seats are massive.
Yeah.
They're so big. So that's something to think about, is even if you currently only have 4, you might actually need a 5-seater, a 7-seater or something to accommodate. So it's just thinking about those things. The other one is if you have a condition that you know is going to change and maybe you're going to, say, become less mobile or maybe need other travel aids in the near future, have a think about how that might affect your choice. So whether you will need a bigger boot at some point or whether you will need a car that's higher or lower and that kind of thing.
Yeah, because some of my friends actually, when they go on holiday, they take their own hoists, portable hoists, and they're not easy to kind of lug around.
No, not at all.
But also, power chairs, that's a different kettle of fish, but you can get things like a Batek that you click on the front of a manual chair. So even if you've got like a small manual chair or a manual chair that collapses, you might eventually upgrade and get something that you attach onto it that doesn't collapse. So there are so many things that you've got to think about. Yeah.
There's a lot of things to think about. And that kind of leads me on to the next bit, which is go and look at the car, go and have a test drive. At the very least, go and look at it and sit in it, even if you don't want to drive it. And there's a few things you should do when you do that. I mean, the first obvious one is to check that you can actually get in and out of it. So cars there'll be small things that you don't think about, but some cars will have a higher door sill than others. Yeah. And will you be able to lift your leg up and over the door sill to get in and out? Some cars, the seats will go much higher or much lower than others. So it's about whether you can sit in and get comfy, adjust the steering wheel, adjust the seat, make sure you can actually get in a driving position where you think this is comfortable and I could sit like this for an extended period of time.
It's incredible. My stepsister picked me up to go for hers one evening, and I said, I can just transfer with a sliding board, but her car doors wouldn't open wide enough for me to get my chair.
Yeah.
And then the sliding board, and I was like, can't get in your car now. And it never even crossed my mind.
So bizarrely, that's one of the things I do when I'm reviewing the cars for the Lifestyle magazine is I actually measure the angle that the doors open to, because there is actually quite a bit of difference, and it's surprising how much easier that can make things. That's another good point, Sam. How far do the doors open? So there's that. And also, if you, a lot of people will use a folding wheelchair and then drag that, get into the driver's seat and drag it across into the passenger seat. Some cars will have a particularly wide or high center console that's going to make that really difficult. So, again, if that's something you do, take it with you. Try it.
Yep.
That's your opportunity to try and check that it actually works. The other one is bring anything with you that you're going to want to put in the boot to check that it fits. So if you have maybe a mobility scooter or you have a wheelchair or something along those lines, check that it will actually fit in the boot of the car. Take all that stuff with you. Car seat as well. Check that it fits in the back. All of those things. So bring all those things with you if you can. The next bit, press all the buttons. Play with the buttons.
We're told we're not supposed to do that.
Don't press all the buttons, but do press all the buttons, because lots of modern cars, everything's in the touchscreen now. They're trying to force more and more stuff into the touchscreen, and it can be really difficult to use, especially when you're driving. So check how all the controls you're going to use often. So like, how does the heating work? How does if you want to make a phone call, that kind of thing, like how does all that stuff work? And check that it's something you're comfortable with operating, like while the car's driving. Because if not, it's the last thing you want is to be driving on a motorway. It's so hot and you can't get to the aircon because it's too...
I struggle enough with this beeper here. I'm like, where's my horn? By the time I've looked down, I've gone into the roads.
But yeah, it is that exact kind of thing. You want the controls to be, easy to get to and easy for you to operate. Same with the handbrake. Lots of cars now have electric handbrakes, which is much easier if you're unable to manually lift one. And the other thing that people rarely check that can be a real pain is if you think you're going to have to lower the back seats, which a lot of people do if they want to fit in a big scooter or a big wheelchair or something. Some of them are quite difficult. Some of them, the buttons, you almost have to get your finger in and jam it, and from a really awkward angle. And if you don't have that dexterity, it's quite hard to do. Whereas some cars will actually have a really nice handle in the boot that lever that you pull, and they'll just drop flat. So
fascinating.
Little things like that you would try. And then the obvious bit then is go for a test drive, and just try and use the car as you would. Obviously you're slightly beholden to where the dealership is and where they take you on a test route. But say you want to go on an A road, if you regularly use like an A road, or say you want to go on a motorway or something, and they can only say no.
Yeah.
But then you get an idea of how the car actually performs in the way that you're going to use it.
In dealerships, can you request them like a home visit?
I was
as
just
well?
about to say, it's worth mentioning, because I've spoken to a few Motability Scheme customers who have arranged for their dealerships to bring the cars to them.
Yeah, that makes
bring
more
a selection so they can compare.
That's so good.
There and then, and it's not too much of a hassle getting out to a dealership to do.
And it's fantastic if they can do that. Obviously, they're not all going to do that, and you'll be slightly more beholden to when they're available.
Yeah.
But fantastic service.
He said if you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So give the car a drive, and when you're driving it, look at things like visibility. Like, can you see clearly enough? Are the mirrors okay? Can you look behind you? Have you got a good view around the car? Are you comfortable driving it? It's hard to do on a test drive, but maybe just have a look at the miles per gallon when you've finished, or the range you've used in an electric car, for example. So you can get an idea of what it's like on fuel based on your driving style. Because the amount of people who get a new car and go, it's using twice as much fuel as my old car, I don't think I can afford to run this. It's a difficult one to do on a test drive, but have a look, or at the very least have a look at some car reviews and see what, if you've come to a car and go, I really like that, see what other people are saying about it in terms of how much fuel it uses, because you don't want to get a car that's too expensive for you to drive. And then I think just lastly, park it. Just see what it's like to park, because that will give you a good idea of how sort of light the steering is as well. That's something that can often cause people problems if a car's got quite heavy steering and then manoeuvring it in.
That's a really good tip.
Yeah, so just park it, but also it does give you an idea of what the car's like to park and its size and dimensions, and whether that's going to suit you, and also whether it's got parking sensors and whatnot. And if it's got, say, front and rear parking sensors and a fantastic 360 camera, and you think, oh, brilliant, that makes life really easy, check that the version of the car you're going to get actually does have those features, if you think you need them. So
I'm just going to get someone to always travel with me so that when the parking comes, I'll just get them to do it for me. I think that's my plan. But isn't it funny, like you don't often get that opportunity to test one. When I, very, very, very different but similar, I got upgraded. My friend got me upgraded once in my lifetime to business class on a flight. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing champagne. But ironically, because the space was bigger, I couldn't reach anything.
Oh, no.
So I was actually more disabled and more inconvenient on this very luxury. And I was like, I can't reach the table. And I can't reach the button because I'm only a wee one.
That's incredibly disappointing.
And I said, really, I mean, first world problems, let's just say. But isn't it, I was really expecting this like lavish experience. And actually, I was actually more, kind of disabled in that environment.
Yeah, that's really rubbish.
Poor me. Well, the point I'm trying to make is, you don't always get the opportunity to test things out. Yeah. So at least in these opportunities, make the effort to test. Because again, cars are for life, or 3 to 5 years on Motability Scheme, and not just for Christmas.
Exactly, perfectly.
And don't be afraid to shop around. Go and see several cars. Don't just go for one and go right. That's the one I want. I'm getting it because you've got nothing to compare it to.
Thank you, Matt.
That's all right.
Thank you, Matt. And enjoy your cress.
I will.
Oh, yes. We will.
It's just a gift that keeps on giving.
And that's it for the Christmas special of the Motability Lifestyle Pod. Thanks to our producers, Charlotte Mason and Abby Sandler at Insanity Studios, and our editorial assistant, Lucy Rose at Wonderly.
If you like this episode, click follow or subscribe. Tell all your friends, and please leave a review and rating if you're listening, or like and comment if you are watching. If you want to tell us what you thought, or if there's something you'd like to hear, come say hello on Instagram at Motability_lifestyle_mag. And for some behind-the-scenes content, follow us on TikTok at Motability Lifestyle Mag. You can also watch the full video on YouTube with captions and BSL. You can find us on at Motability Lifestyle Magazine. Finally, if you want more information about the Motability Scheme, go to motability.co.uk. And if you want to learn more about the Motability Foundation, visit motabilityfoundation.org.uk. And that's it. I am Samantha Renk.
And I'm Sophie Marie Odom.
And I'm Matt Lizzymore.
And a very Merry Christmas!
Happy Christmas!
Merry Christmas!